Welcome to the video tutorial for the Chunky Mini Clutch. This will be a quick little video on how to make this cute accessory that has unlimited uses. It's highly customizable in size and color, and the color combinations are absolutely endless. Today I'll be using a number 6 bulky yarn in 3 colors and a 9mm hook. You'll also need scissors and 2 stitch markers. The stitches we'll be using are all pretty basic. The ones that are a little more advanced, I'll go over to when we get to them. If you're ready, let's begin. Okay, to begin our little mini clutch, I'm using Lion Brand Hometown USA. It is a number 6 super bulky. It's in a nice burgundy, and it calls for a 9mm hook. If you're using a different weight yarn, use whatever hook size it recommends. But I'm using a 6 super bulky and a 9mm hook. So we have a slip knot on our hook, and to begin, we're just going to chain 37, straight up 37 chains. And then we'll start from there, and I'll pick you up when we've done our 37 chains. Okay, we're chaining 37, and I'm on 35, 36, and 37. So there's our beginning chain. What we're going to do is place a single crochet back down, and we'll have a stitch count of 36. We'll be placing a stitch marker in the 35th stitch, but we'll get to that in a sec. So we're going to just simply do a single crochet in each stitch back down, and that should give us a stitch count of 36. So go ahead and place a single crochet in each of your chains back down, and when we get to the end of this chain, it's a little bit different than we normally do, so I'll catch up with you after we do our 36 single crochets. Okay, we've been putting a single crochet in each of our chains back down for 36. So this is 35, and this is 36. And actually, we're going to go ahead and place a second single crochet in this last chain. So all the rest have one single crochet. That last one has 2. All right, grab a stitch marker, whatever kind you use, and we're going to place our stitch marker in the 35th stitch. So 37, 36, 35, right here. Place a stitch marker in that 35th stitch. So this is how it's a little bit different. Instead of chaining 1 and turning, we're going to simply turn our entire first row of single crochet on our chain, and we're going to work our way back down to the beginning. So that's a little bit different. So just take your hook, insert it in that opposite side, and we'll place 36 single crochets back down our original chain till we get to the beginning of where we were. So go ahead and do that. 1 single crochet back down the other side, and you should have 36, and I'll see you when we get to the end. Okay, so we're putting a single crochet back down the other side of our chain, which is a little different, for 36. So I'm on 34. This is 35. And now on our last one, we're going to change colors on 36. And I am going to introduce this light gray. So go ahead and insert your hook into that last stitch. Pull it up, grab your yarn, and finish off your single crochet like that. And we've changed colors. Go ahead and chain 1 to anchor it, And we'll be on our way to row 2. Now, I won't be using this color number 1 again until the next to the last row. I'm going to use, like I said, 3 colors. So we've changed to our second color, and we're going to go on to row 2. Okay, so for row 2, we've switched to our second color, which for me is this gray. I've already chained 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to place a double crochet in the first 35 stitches. Now on the other side, we've already placed a stitch marker on 35. So we're going to do a double crochet in each stitch, in each of those single crochets we just did, in the first 35 stitches. We'll place a stitch marker there as well. So go ahead and do 35 double crochets down this side, and I'll pick you up when we get to 35. Okay, so we're placing a double crochet in each of our stitches up to number 35, which is this one right here. And we'll go ahead and take our second stitch marker and place it in this 35th stitch. If I can get it in there, let's see, like that. So we have a stitch marker on the 35th stitch on both sides. Now we have 3 stitches here, 1, 2, 3 from before, because we put 2 stitches in our number 36. Then we had 36 stitches here, but this is our 35th stitch. So I hope that makes sense. Anyway, we have 3 stitches here around our corner. We're going to place 2 double crochets in each one of these corner stitches. So just 2 double crochets in each stitch. So there's 1, you go back into the same stitch, place your second one. Same in this next one. It's on the end. If I can grab it. You want to do this kind of tight. You want to crochet kind of tight because it'll give your clutch a little more stability. I'm a tight crocheter anyway, so it works out fine for me. All right, and then in 2 in this last one going around the corner. So there's 1 and 2. Okay, so now we're back to our other stitch marker. That's why it's important, just to know when you get around the corner. So we're going to do the same thing back down. We have 35 stitches from the stitch marker to the end. Continue to place 1 double crochet in each of these next 35 stitches till you get to the end. We're going to keep this color so you don't have to worry about changing. So a double crochet in the next 35 stitches, and I'll pick you up at the end. Okay, we're here near the end of row 2. We've been putting a double crochet in these last 35 stitches after we did 2 in each of the double crochets around the corner for those 3 stitches. So that was 33, here's 34, and 35. Now I'm going to stay with this color for one more row. If y'all want to make it solid, if you want to change every row, it's up to you, but I'm using 3. So that's the end of row 2. I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn just so I get that out of the way. But this is how it's looking so far. We're basically going to be making a rectangle with a curved end. So that's the end of row 2. I'll pick you up for row 3. All right, we're on row 3. We've done a half double crochet all the way down, 2 half double crochets in each of these 3 stitches between our stitch markers, and then a half double crochet back down. So I'm staying with my color number 2, and I've already done a chain 1. So let's start this row by doing just our first stitch will be a regular half double crochet. So our first stitch and our last stitch will be a regular half double crochet. The remaining stitches, even down around this curve, we're going to just alternate front and back post half double crochets in each stitch. So for this first one, you go in around that post, grab your yarn, pull it up, finish off your half double crochet. For the back post, you go in from the back around that post, grab your yarn. Oops, missed it. Let's try that again. Go in from the back, around, pick up your yarn, pull it up, finish off your half double crochet. It looks a little tight or bulky or something, but it'll all even out at the end. So we're going to alternate front and back post half double crochets all the way down past your stitch marker, around the corner, and back down to the end. And on our final stitch, we'll be doing a regular half double crochet. We're also going to be changing colors, so I'll pick you up down here. Alternate your front and back post half double crochets all the way around. Regular half double crochet here, and I'll pick you up there. Okay, so we're placing our front and back post half double crochets down, and I just want to show you I've gotten to my 35th stitch, so I moved my stitch marker up. Each time we get to our stitch markers, we want to move it up to our row so we always know where that is. But we're just around this corner, there's 6 stitches. We're just going to continue alternating our front and back post half double crochets. Last time we put 2 stitches in each one. This time we're just going to take these 6 stitches and continue alternating our front and back post half double crochets. When you get to this 35th stitch here, move your stitch marker up along with your stitch and continue alternating all the way down. We'll put a regular half double crochet in this last stitch, and we're going to be changing colors, but I'll pick you up before that. So continue alternating your front and back post half double crochets, and I'll see you at the end of row 3. Okay, we're at the end of row number 3 where we've been alternating our front and back post half double crochets. And I'm on the last stitch where we're placing a regular half double crochet like we did at the beginning. However, I'm introducing my third color for the next 2 rows, which is a white. And I'm going to go ahead and just connect my colors like this. Go ahead and chain. And that's the end of row 3. Now for row 4, we're going to be repeating these last 2 rows that we did, but I'll walk you through those. So I'll see you for the next row. Okay, so we're on row 4. I've switched to my third color, which is white. And what we're going to do for rows 4 and 5 is repeat 2 and 3. So this row, row 4, we're just going to place a double crochet in each of our first 35 stitches, which will take you up to that first stitch marker. So go ahead, super simple, go ahead and just put 1 double crochet in each of these first 35 stitches until you get to your stitch marker. We'll be doing around a corner just a little bit different. So 1 double crochet up all the way to your stitch marker, and then I'll pick you up there for the corner. Okay, so I've done my 35 double crochets up to my stitch marker, which I've moved up again to this row. So this is number 35. So we're at our corner again. So from stitch marker to stitch marker, last time we did 2 in each one. This time we're going to alternate. We're going to place 2 double crochets in the first stitch of our corner. There's 1 back in that same stitch is 2. Next stitch, we're just going to place 1 like that. Next stitch, we'll place 2, 1, back in that same stitch for 2. Next one, 1. So we're just alternating 2 in the first, 1 in the second. 2 in the next one right here. 1, 2. And 1 in this last one. And that brings us back to our second stitch marker. So all we're going to do now is one double crochet all the way back down in these last 35 stitches. We'll stay with this color, so when we get to the end, we'll just chain one and turn and go on to the next row. So I'll see you at the end of this row. Okay, so we're coming to the end of row 4 where we've been putting a double crochet in each stitch. We've done our 35 double crochets down from this stitch marker till the end. I'm on my last 2 double crochets, so this is 34 and 35. Now I'm going to stay with this same color. If you're switching again, go ahead and do it now. But this is the end of row 4. I'm going to chain one and turn. And we're going to go straight into row 5. Okay, so for row 5, we're going to do a repeat of, I think it was row 3, where we just place a half double crochet in this first stitch. And then from here on out, all the way around, even around our corner, we're going to alternate our front and back post half double crochets. So I'm going to start with the front post, half double crochet. Next one, I go in from the back, around that post, grab my yarn, pull it up, work my half double crochet. So we're going to continue this all the way around till the last stitch, which again will be a regular half double crochet. And basically we're almost at the end because we're just going to do 2 rows of border. But I will pick you up when we get near the end of this because I'm going to change rows. Change colors. I did want to tell you, obviously I'm using 3 colors of yarn. This is so customizable, whatever color scheme you want. These skeins that I'm using, this Hometown Super Bulky, only has 64 yards in each skein. So I wanted to see if you could make one of these in a solid color just with one of those small 64 yard skeins. I did do it. I had to place some serious yarn chicken and I had maybe an inch left at the end. But it can be done and you have to do it super tight. But if you want to make a solid color with one of these Hometown USA number 6 Super Bulky yarn skeins, that's 64 yards, it can be done. Just make sure you're doing it really tight. So continue on alternating front and back post half double crochets all the way down, all the way around the corner. And we'll do a regular half double crochet here at the end and change colors, but I'll pick you up somewhere in this area here and we'll finish it off. See you then. Okay, this is the end of row 5, where once again we did an alternating front and back post half double crochet all the way around. I'm on my last stitch, which is a regular half double crochet, but I'm changing colors. Our last 2 rows are going to be basically a border, 2 rows of a single crochet border around this. So I'm going to go back to my color number 1 here. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my color number 1. Again, this thing is so customizable. Whatever color you want to use for your border is fine. I'm going to use my first and second colors for each row of my border. But again, whichever color you want to use is fine. So I've switched back to my color number 1. I'm going to turn it around and chain 1, and then we'll get started on row number 6. Okay, so we're on row 6, and this is the first of 2 just single crochet border rows. I've gone back to my color number 1. So all we're going to do is place a single crochet in each stitch of the first 35, which will take us up to that first stitch marker. So I hope you've been moving your stitch markers up with each row. So let's put one single crochet in each stitch until we get to our stitch marker, and I'll pick you up there for our corner. Okay, so we've been putting one single crochet in the first 35 stitches up to this first stitch marker. Now we're on our corner again, and we should have 9 stitches around our corner. So we're going to place 2 single crochets in each of these 9 corner stitches. So 2 in that first one, 2 in the next one, 2 in each space, in each stitch, until you get back around to your stitch marker. So we have 9 stitches in this corner. We'll have a total of 18 in the corner when we're done with it. So 2 single crochets in each of these till you get back to your stitch marker. Then you'll continue on with 1 single crochet down to the end, and I'll pick you up there. Okay, we're at the end of this row, our first of our border rows. I've got 2 more stitches. Now, you may, if you're satisfied with how it looks, you may want to stop with 1 row of border. In my written pattern, I have the next row as an optional row, border row. I'm going to continue on with 1 more border row, and I'm going to switch to my color number 2, this light gray. So this is my last single crochet of this row, stitch 35. I'm going to take my color number 2, and I'm going to finish off my single crochet with that color there. I'll go ahead and chain 1. And now I'm going to start my last row of the border. So I'll pick you up for row 7. All right, this is our final row. We're going to do another row of single crochet for a border. I've switched back to my color number 2. Again, whichever color you want to use for your borders is fine. So we're going to do just what we did before, placing a single crochet in these first 35 stitches up to that first stitch marker, just like we did on our last row. We're going to be doing the corner a little bit different. So go ahead and place a single crochet in these first 35 stitches up to your stitch marker, and I'll pick you up there to show you how we're going to go around our last corner. Okay, this is row 7, our second row of our border edge, where I've switched back to my color number 2, and I've done 35 single crochets up to my stitch marker, which I've now removed because I don't need it anymore. Still have this one, but I took this one out. Okay, so here's our corner. We have 18 stitches. Instead of doing 2 in each one, we're going to alternate again. We're going to do 2 in the first one, 1 back in that same stitch for 2. The next one we'll just do 1. And we're going to repeat that around. So this third stitch, I'll put 2, 1 and 2. The next one I'll do 1. So continue alternating 2, 1, 2, 1 till you get to your last stitch marker. Finish off 1 single crochet in the last 35. And I'll meet you when we get down to the end of row 7, and we'll put our purse together. See you then. Okay, we're at the end of our last row, row 7, where we're putting our second row of single crochet for a border. I've got 2 or 3 stitches left. I've taken out both of my stitch markers, but hang on to them because we're going to use them when we're putting them together. All right, here's my last stitch. And what I want you to do is keep a pretty long tail, maybe 10 inches or so. That's probably way too much, 10 inches to a foot, because we're going to use this when we're sewing our first side together. So that's that. We're done with that. I'm going to switch to a bigger, taller tripod so I can get this whole thing in here. So when I come back with you, we're going to put our little case mini clutch together. So I'll see you for that. Okay, here's what it looks like now. This is the right side, and this is the wrong side. It's got all our little pieces of yarn from where we've changed colors, and we'll weave them in later. So with the right side facing you, what we're going to do is fold it up and sew these sides, then we'll turn it inside out. So the finished product is about 6.5 inches square. So I count up about 13 or 14 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and fold there. That seems to be about right. If you want, take your stitch markers that we used and clip these edges together. You want to, I hope you can see this, you want to line your stitches up so that when you sew them, it'll be nice and even. So I'm going to go ahead and put my stitch marker on this side. So we had our long tail. I've put my yarn with a darning needle. If you want to use your hook and slip stitch it, that's fine too. Just make sure it's even. Line these stitches up like this. And all I'm going to do is just go back and forth between my stitches. Just make sure that it's lined up so that each time I go through this stitch and I go through the coordinating stitch on the other side. So do that. It's kind of hard to show, but just stitch in and out all the way down. Then you'll get another piece of yarn. You'll do the same thing. So once we've done both sides, I'll come back and show you how it looks. So I've stitched up both sides of my clutch. I used a darning needle, but it's still, this is the wrong side. So we have to flip this to the right side. Just flip it around like that, turn it right side out. And then you can fold your flap down, and here's your clutch. Here it is. This one measures about 6 inches by 6 inches. Now, if you want a wider clutch, it's very customizable. This one is basically square, but it'll fit your cell phone or cosmetics or whatever it is you need to carry in here. But if you want it wider, all you need to do is just repeat rows 2 and 3 once or twice more to get it whatever size that you would like to be. But it's absolutely endless the possibilities you can do with this. I actually vape, and it's perfect for my pen and the liquids and the charger and everything. I've used it as a little cosmetic bag when I traveled a couple of weekends ago. Like I said, my cell phone fits in it. Throw my license, throw a credit card in there, I'm good to go. And also, you can customize it as far as how wide it is, but also the color combinations are absolutely endless. I like to use 3 colors, but like I said in the video, I've made a solid, I've made them with 2 colors. It's just whatever color scheme you would like to go with. Now, as far as closures, there's a few ways you can do it. There's these little stick-on magnets. You can put one here and then put one like here, close it that way, and you have a magnetic closure. I wanted to show you this one I made earlier, and all I did, I sewed a little button right here, and then, see if you can see this, I just chained with just a worsted weight yarn, like maybe 10 or 12 chains, and connected it, and sewed my button on, and then you just take the little chain loop and go around it, and it closes like that. I think that's really cute. I know a lot of y'all go to your local craft fairs, and I see on some of my Facebook groups that they're always asking for suggestions. What works up fast that I can make a bunch of? Well, it's literally 7 rows. Like I said, you can make it as big as small as you want, whatever colors. I think this would be perfect for something like a craft fair. You can just work up a bunch. They're so quick and easy. Take them to your crafts fair, and I truly think they would be a big hit. Christmas is coming. We're almost in November. I think this would make a great last minute gift for someone, a coworker, a stocking stuffer, anything like that. So I think it's adorable, has so many uses, and I hope you like it. I hope you enjoyed making this mini clutch as much as I enjoyed showing you how. If you like this tutorial, please share it with all of your crochet friends. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you'll always get notified every time I post a video. There'll always be more to come. Until then, happy hooking!